All right, so we're gonna start framing up the interior, and we're gonna start out with our interior girts. And the first one, I want to line up the top edge of this window. And that's because most of the windows are all this height, so that'll kill two birds with one stone. It's 2 feet up, and we gotta put a board across here anyway. So mounted the laser to the wall, got the laser lined up here. We'll mark just above the red on all the posts. Then we can take this down and run our first girts, and then we can just make a block the height we want to set all the rest of them, because this one will be perfect. All right, so we're framing up the walls, and we're gonna do all our interior girts first. So we got our first one set with a laser, figured out how I wanted the rest of them, and I built spacer blocks, and all we have to do, put that up there, put our 2x4 on top and nail it in. Good right there? Good. All right guys, we have finished up all the wall girts. Jake's just blocking in the windows right now, and then we'll be 100% done with that. So I'm starting to lay out the walls, and we're gonna start at this end of the house where we have 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, little hall, closet. And that is this wall right here. So I'm gonna get that squared out, marked, and then I'm going to mark out this bathroom wall where there's plumbing going up in the wall. I feel like those are the most important, so I'll make sure those walls hit where I put the plumbing, then we'll build out from there. So you don't necessarily need like a layout laser to do this. If your building's pretty square, you can do the Pythagorean theorem to square your rooms. If it's a little unsquare, you just have to make it work. So this is laying out really nice. I actually just put a temporary string line here to make sure that we were going to, this is the inside of this wall, and then this is the refrigerator water line. So I wanted to make sure it was going to land in the wall, and it is. So we're good to go with that. We have a 1-piece tub shower we got to get in while we frame. So we're gonna get rocking and rolling here and hopefully get this whole end of the house framed today. Maybe that's wishful thinking. I always think big. We'll see how it goes. This is the nice thing about a layout laser, is I marked my walls. I lined up here, I can see this, so now I can go ahead and mark all these up my sides, and then when I put my wall up, all I have to do is line it up with these marks. So it is one nice thing about the laser. And then you can see I have this mark on the ceiling. So now, once I get my wall built, this is kind of not a whole lot of thinking going on. All right guys, we got our first wall, couple walls lined out on the floor, marked. And this is a single story house, so with a concrete floor, it's not gonna be perfectly flat. There can be variations up to 1/4, 3/8 of an inch. In this case, we're just gonna go through here with the laser level and see what is kind of the average, and then we'll cut all our studs to fit just one length, so we can just cut them real quick. If you're doing a 2-story, you're gonna have to cut each individual stud as you go, because you want your top place to be perfectly level for when you put your I-joist or whatever kind of flooring system you're putting. If you don't and you have variation, you're gonna have variation in your upstairs floor. This case, single story, we're just gonna cut them all the same length. All right, we determined our length. This was only off 1/8 inch all the way across, so we're gonna cut them all 103 3/4. That gives us a little bit of play. And so we're gonna start nailing this wall together. We're gonna try to lift this whole wall in one piece. Might be tight, might be sorry I did that, but I think we can do it. All right, we get lots of questions on drilling into concrete with radiant heat. So I put my radiant tubes at the bottom of the slab attached to my insulation. We use 4.5 inch concrete anchors. We put these at all our door openings just to make that really solid. So if you know your depth of your tube, we drill in 3 inches into the concrete. We're still 2 inches above that tube, so we should have no problem. So what I do is I mark with some tape on my drill bit so I don't drill too deep. It's kind of like shooting a gun. You got to know your ballistics. So we'll drill to this point, put our anchor in, and we'll never hit our tubing. All right, this whole section's framed up. We got all of our nailers on the walls that run parallel with our ceiling joist. And the last step is to cut these bottom plates out. So when we frame up a wall, we'll leave the bottom plate all the way across. That helps you keep your wall square while you're framing it up. We'll usually pre-cut the door openings about 1 1/4 and 1/4 and 3/8, just so when it comes time to cut them out, it's a lot easier with your Sawzall. So that's what we're about to do right now, is cut these out. there, so I'm gonna have to get this board out of there. All right, one of the last things we have to do is install these pocket doors. These are AF wood products. They sell these pocket doors at like Menards, Home Depot, Lowe's. They work. They're not the like best in the business, but I've used them on all my builds and they've turned out all right. I have other videos where I've put plywood, 3/4 inch plywood in between here to kind of stiffen the whole system up. But it's one of those things, if you want a nicer pocket door system, you gotta pay a lot more money. So we're installing this on concrete, which can sometimes be tricky just because it's not perfectly level. But we got the header on. For these doors, this is a 36-inch pocket door, so you times it by 2 and then add 2 inches, and that's your rough opening width. And then the rough opening height is 84.5. So we got that done right here. So now we're just gonna slide this thing in there and get it fastened in, and we'll show you how we do that. I can only imagine. Good. Justin, I think this is going to go on pretty smoothly. This is the fun part because we have to get some anchors right here in the concrete. So I'm gonna have to I hate taking this block off because that kind of holds this whole thing square. So I'll get my drill and see if I can get in here and get that done. You can see right here, I already have a line struck across here with my laser, so I know exactly where to line the edge of my door up with. So I'm just gonna even this up and then drill my holes. All right, so we have this whole door pretty much installed. We just have to block this in. And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna rip or plane a board down to the thickness I need. That way it'll fill this whole gap all the way along here and it'll be nice and solid. So I need 1 inch and 1/8. And I could have tried to frame it more closer, but then if your concrete's off and you end up having to shim the bottom or whatever, then you get yourself into trouble. I screwed up like that, nice and level, so. All right, we got that in all the way across, and that's nice and level, so we're just gonna screw that in, and then this door will be done. Perfect, thank you. All right, so we have this all installed, the square. We will have to get a board to fit in here to fill this gap down here. I don't always quite understand why the rough opening is bigger, because I always end up having to fill this in. I mean, I could have butted it this way, but I feel like that end of the door needs to be solid, so I like to fasten it to that double 2x4. But we have a tie-in wall here, so I'm going to go ahead and take some screws and screw it to this tie-in wall just to sturdy this up. And if you even want this to be more sturdy, you can take 3/4 inch plywood, slide it into this metal trim, and then screw it right here. And that just gives this more rigidity where you're going to have drywall and everything. So one other thing to keep in mind when you put these in is you don't want any screws to go through these slats because they will scratch your pocket door when you put it in and it's sliding in and out. All right, we've officially finished all the internal framing, so I'll just kind of take you around, show you what we got going on here for those of you who are trying to do this on your own. If you look on the outside walls, we have 2x4 interior girts, 2 foot on center. And for like electrical boxes in that bottom bay, we got some blocks that we will put in there. I'll show you that once that's done. Over here, we have the utility room, in-floor heat, all the water. Our electrical comes in underneath in Schedule 80. We got 3 4-inch PVC pipes that come up through the concrete. That's for running water lines in and out, and a spare. If you look here, we have blocking. These are 9-foot walls, so I like to put 2x4 blocking in here halfway up. It just really sturdies up that wall, holds all the studs nice and straight. This isn't load bearing, so I just use a double 2x4 for top plates on all my doors. Laundry room with the utility sink. This will be the master over here. Got a closet with pocket door, bathroom, toilet room with a closet door. That'll be a tile shower back there. And then this is a door that walks out onto the back patio back here. So anywhere you have walls that run parallel to your ceiling joists, you gotta tack on a 2x6 if it's a 2x4 wall, so it hangs over 1 inch on each side, so the drywallers have something to attach their drywall to. So we got all that done. And then this will be kitchen, slider out onto the back patio, open area out in the front. They're putting in a fireplace we framed in for a hearth that'll get all cement boarded and tiled. And then back here we have bedroom, bathroom, and they're using that as an office, but that could be another bedroom easily. It's got a closet in it, so. But that's going to be a wrap on the internal framing for the Remington. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Don't forget, we have a Patreon. It's a build group. Cover different topics every month. You guys can ask questions. If you're self-building, it's a great resource. But as always, we appreciate you guys watching, and we will catch you on the next video.